All good?
Oh, questions?
No, I'm just making sure you're all ready for me to give you my little spiel. Thank you, love. All right, well, thank you so much all for coming out here today. I've sort of summoned everybody to a field, and the message for today is that we are a government that delivers. We're a government that delivers on making sure that we are finding efficiencies and great value for money. And as the Minister for Education, I've asked my MPs Rima Narkley and Cameron Brewer to come along today because as a team, and as a Ministry of Education, we have been driving good value for money and efficiencies across the property portfolio in education so that we can deliver more warm, dry, safe classrooms to children across New Zealand. And you may remember when we came into government over a year ago, we found ourselves in a position where we had a pipeline of 352 projects that didn't have funding on the one hand, and on the other hand we had classrooms that were costing $1.2 million each, and they were architecturally designed, and we didn't have good efficiencies or good value for money. Now if you fast forward 13 months, we've had our property inquiry, and I've been working really hard with the Ministry of Education to drive this value for money and efficiencies within the property portfolio. And I can say today that last year we delivered 120 more classrooms than the year before. We have made sure that the amount of classrooms we're building that are repeatable designs, that are off-site manufactured builds, have increased by 35%, which means we've been able to drive the price down by about 28%. Why I'm telling you all that? It means that we have $100 million that we have managed to save over the last little while, that we are able to announce today, and I'll be doing two major announcements. One is today and one in a couple of months' time around new schools and new classrooms that we're able to build because of that drive for efficiency that we've undertaken over the last 12 months. And so today it's all about Auckland and it's all about our Kura Kaupapa network. So we're standing here today because I'm announcing that we're able to fast track and fast forward the delivery of this school here at Massey Red Hills, which will soon be, after the boundary changes, in Cameron Brewer's electorate. It is a school that's going to be built in 3 stages, the first stage of which will be for 600 students. And we will be able to start on this site building these classrooms this year in July, spades in the ground, and we will have it delivered by term 1 in 2027. So that's exceptionally fast paced because we are using a repeatable design. And when you come back here in a year and a half's time, you will see a school that you may well recognise from 4 other schools in Auckland, because we are building the same school, slightly tweaked for this site here to drive, again, those efficiencies and good value for money so we can build more of these schools. You'll also know that I have a real passion for special education. And I've always said that inclusivity is all about choice for our parents. And so on this site, those 28 classrooms we're building in stage 1, 2 of them will be for Arahanui Special School as 2 satellite classrooms. So we're very excited that we can get underway in July with this school and deliver it really quickly. The other announcements, and I've got the two amazing principals here today in their holidays. We're announcing that Ormiston Senior, which has a stage 3 development, we're able to fast track that. 18 classrooms that will be able to start early next year, which is really exciting for Rima, exciting for that region, because there has been huge growth in that area of Auckland that we need to make sure that we are catering for. And another really good news for Auckland, and back in Cameron Brewer's electorate here, Scott Point is another school that's been experiencing extreme growth. And so we're also able to announce the stage 3 fast track of their 10 classroom over 2 blocks as well. So that's great news for 2 areas of Auckland that are experiencing rapid growth that we're able to deliver on because of the efficiencies that we've found over the last year. So that's Auckland. But I'm also really proud to say that we have included Kura Kaupapa in our network planning. And we know that Kura Kaupapa deliver excellent results around the country, and they are in high demand, and we have high wait lists at many of our Kura Kaupapa around New Zealand. And so I'm able to announce today that 4 Kura Kaupapa, 2 in Gisborne, 1 in Taupō, 1 in Rotorua, will also be getting new classrooms over the coming year or so. And I'm really excited that one of those in Gisborne has been operating. This is Hawaii Ho, have been operating out of a bank vault for 7 years. And I know their local MP, Dana Kirkpatrick, has been advocating for them to move for a really long time. And with this efficiency and the $100 million that we've been able to find, we will be able to move them out of the bank vault and on to a new school site, the site of the old Cobham School, and build them a technology classroom as well. So some really exciting news for our Kura Kaupapa network. Exciting news for Auckland. This is just the first of 2 announcements. I will be making another announcement in coming months in the South Island. Can't forget our friends in the South Island also experiencing rapid growth in parts of Christchurch as well. So we will also be making some announcements down there when we have undertaken a little bit more work. And with that, I'm very happy to answer any of your questions.
The sector has been urgently calling for more classrooms to meet that high growth
Yes.
in the areas. So do you think this matches that demand?
This is only one part of a much bigger strategy to deliver classrooms around the country. You'll know that in Budget 2024 we put a record amount of money into school maintenance projects, more than the previous 6 years combined, 780 million or 790 million, and $400 million into new classrooms. So there's the budget processes that we go through. Today is all about the fact that we have managed to create all of these efficiencies so we can fast track a whole lot of school builds and school classrooms over the next year or so. But we will continue to deliver more classrooms through other means as well, like the budget, like we have done.
Are you confident that in terms of resources, there will be enough staff for teachers to staff these classrooms here with the 600 people, and then the new kind of schools that you're building, there's enough teachers?
Yeah. Look, there's no doubt that we have a teacher shortage, like almost every other country we compare ourselves to, which is why we are so focused on making sure that we are putting money into attraction and retention. Attraction, firstly, with our programs like the on-site training program that we've doubled the numbers of, and the fact that we are attracting teachers from overseas using the green list and helping to pay some of the relocation costs, but also here in New Zealand, scholarships for more students to attract them into teaching. But the other part is really important too, the retention part. And that's why my message to everyone in New Zealand who's thinking about becoming a teacher is we are developing and have a world-leading education system. We've got a world-leading curriculum that's just been introduced. We've got full resources to back that up. We've got the best professional learning and development that money can buy, that we're out there pumping into the sector because we back our teachers. And so if you want to come and become a teacher in New Zealand, we back you.
Beyond Auckland, Rotorua and Gisborne, what other areas in New Zealand are you eyeing for new classrooms and schools?
Look, there are pockets of New Zealand that need classrooms all across the country. And it's such a shame that over the last 6 years, while there was investment going into property, $1.2 million per classroom meant the opportunity cost was we couldn't build more classrooms at other schools. So there is now a deficit that we're trying to catch up on. So there are other areas. There are some in the South Island. I don't want to get ahead of my announcement coming up in the next month or so, though.
Those Kura Kaupapa, you mentioned the story about one Kura who was operating out of the bank vault.
Yeah.
Just how important is this funding to them?
Look, Kura Kaupapa have been for many years experiencing classrooms that are subpar. They've often gone into schools that have been abandoned or left by other schools. It's really been a pretty awful situation for them. And we haven't involved them in network planning. So I've made it clear to the Ministry we are going to involve them in network planning. We're going to keep a careful monitor of their watch lists and their wait lists and make sure that we have ring-fenced funds, especially for Kura Kaupapa, so we can build out that network. It's important to Hawaii Kiho, who have been in that building for 7 years.
I've just got a question on the relationships and sexuality education draft framework. What are your thoughts on it so far?
I think the Ministry have done a really good job. They've used Ministry experts to write the new relationship and sexuality framework. It's just a consultation document, but I think what we need now is the view of parents, the view of educators and the view of the sector to come back and tell us if everything's in the right place, if there's anything missing, if there's something that should be taken out. The one thing I'm really proud of in this new proposed framework, consent. We have been talking about consent for such a long time. It's not compulsory, it's not mandatory, and not all our young people are getting taught about consent. This new framework builds it up right from primary school. Is it okay if someone wants to share my bike? Should they have to ask? How should I respond? And it builds it all the way through to talking about consent, in a sexual term. And so Actually, I think they've done a really good job, but now it's up to the public to tell us what they think.
The draft RSE framework has significantly reduced gender, sexual orientation and Pacifica terminology as well. Why is that occurred?
Well, it's out for consultation. If there are some things that we have missed or put in too late, we need to hear from the sector. These guidelines or this framework was put together by the sector group inside the ministry, an expert group. Sorry, not a sector group, an expert group. They've made those judgments, but now it's up to the public to tell us whether or not we should make some changes.
Minister, do you think that parents will support the guidelines?
My view is that parents have been frustrated because they don't know what's being taught, they don't know when it's being taught, and we know that many schools have not been consulting when they should every 2 years. So what I'm expecting from this curriculum, it's year by year, it's knowledge rich, it'll tell parents exactly what will be taught, the terminology that will be used, so that then they can make the choice. Do they have a conversation with their child in advance? Do they decide to pull their child out and have that conversation purely on their own? Or maybe they just leave it up to the school. But that's a choice for parents. We're going to make it explicitly clear what's being taught.
I'm just looking at the term 1 attendance with the new education bill. How is the new bill being received by schools?
Sorry, a question again?
Just looking at the term 1 attendance with the new education bill when students come into class. How is the new bill being received by school boards?
The bill that's been introduced. Look, I haven't had any feedback yet on the bill, but we will wait to see what happens during the select committee process. I expect there'll be a lot of feedback through that process, so we will listen carefully to.
Are you able to go into a bit more detail about how these particular sites, like the factors and the criteria you weighed up and considered to pick these particular sites and the
Sure.
upgrades?
Look, I want to make it very clear that I don't get to choose. There is a list of projects that the ministry have that are their priority, but I have made it really clear to my officials we need spades in the ground. This was one of the projects that we could get underway almost immediately, and that's why it was one of the ones I think was brought to me. When we went to the infrastructure summit that we held, the investment summit, it was made very clear from the construction industry, we need spades in the ground. So here we are. We can deliver spades in the ground because of our efficiencies in July.
Do you know, in terms of that 100 million, how many schools that's going to stretch over the course of that funding? Like, do you know how many schools that might affect once that has run out?
I'm going to do a really quick sum in my head, but approximately, actually no, I'm not. I can't remember how many we're doing in the South Island, so I'm not going to give you a figure, but I mean today I've announced 4 Kura Kaupapa, 2 expansions and this big brand new school, but there will be a number of schools in the South Island as well.
Are you across the community in this area and was there any consultation and how they responded to the new school coming?
Oh, look, that's up to the ministry. That's an operational thing that the ministry undertake when they're building new schools. But I'm pretty confident that the pressure that's been placed on Whenuapai and Massey School close by, they'll be really pleased that there's a new school to take some of that pressure off.
Very good.
And everybody loves a new school.
The government has directed Health New Zealand to stop using the term pregnant people and instead to use pregnant women. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts are that women get pregnant and women have babies. So we probably should say pregnant woman. Great. Thank you very much. Thanks everyone for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
So should we go get some photos?